So, hello, my name is Roberto Serra. I'm a student of Rhetoric Composition number 2 from RLUS, and I'm going to be introducing my semester journal. Let's get started. So, how it all started. We first had to pick a topic that we were going to advocate for throughout the whole semester, and we had to create an engagement proposal. For me, my topic was to focus on the outcomes of divorce, what happens after a separation, the effects on children, and what happens to a couple after a separation, the mental issues, psychological health, what they go through. So I created my engagement proposal based on that, which is pretty much committing to a topic for the whole semester. After my engagement proposal, I had to go to the generative analysis, which was pretty much focusing on comparing two different types of sources of our topic. So I picked two of them. I picked the Song of Family Issues from Pink, and I picked a scholarly article that went over different statistics about divorce. So I had to compare the audience, I had to compare the purpose of the source, and I had to make a conclusion on what difference do they have and what similarities do they have. After the generative analysis, I had to do what is called local fieldwork, which was indeed very similar, but in a more broad field. So not only comparing two sources, but going over more of them, finding about 4 sources, one national survey, one local survey, and creating my own proper research. So what I did for my local fieldwork was interviewing friends, students, and even professors of the University of Texas at El Paso, and sometimes from outside, to get conclusions on what the main idea or what the idealized people have on a marriage and divorce. Other than that, I also had to compare my research with local surveys and national surveys related to the topic. I'll look for a national survey that depicted what the idea young people have on marriage. Other than that, after the local field work, I had to do the broad field work, which is a bit just more in depth. It's not so different, but it's just like going further. So for the broad field work, I had to look for 4 different sources, and I had to investigate them, read them, and understand what I had to do. If I'm not wrong, it was 4 or 2, but it was something close to it. So I had to go over my sources, make what is called annotated bibliography, and describe what the source was about. Now, after that, for go further, I had to do a volunteership on a podcast. Well, I could pick any of them, like either you do one or you do the other. So since I wasn't able to do a volunteership, I did a podcast. The podcast was focused on my topic, pretty much. So I did a short explanation of what is divorce, what happens with a divorce, what are some biases, what are some misjudgments. I explained all of those topics and did a 2-minute video for that topic. Now, other than that, what I've been doing my whole semester is something that our professor has been assigning us, which are known as TED Talks. For TED Talks, we have to go over different, as the name says, TED Talks that are uploaded on YouTube. We will have to watch them, which are focused on different social issues and impacts. We had to make a review, summary, and our opinion on it. Most of them had very interesting topics. You could see topics about the pronoun topic, which is what is coming out today, that we have to be more open-minded on understanding that different people have different pronouns, and we have to be kind enough to ask them what they want to go for. Not only that, but there were many different TED Talks that all of them went over different topics. Now, similarly, instead of watching videos, we also did something was called readings of the book known as Writing Communities. I forgot the name of the author. We went over their readings, and similarly, they all went over different topics, just like ways of communicating and expression, because many different readings went over how the normal person behaves and how different factors influence on the way they understand stuff, pretty much. Now, let's go more into what I think my topic did for me, or what I did for my topic throughout the whole semester. As I kept working on studying on the outcomes of divorce, I was able to learn different stuff about it. I learned that there used to be, it's still a common misjudgment that there's a bias in separation, that children will always be with a superior parent, which is a woman. Well, or that's the bias that the courts have. But after a couple of years ago, that started changing. In the courts, they started noticing there was a unfair bias, and they started changing it. And I went over how different people have different misconceptions and misjudgment on what happens after a separation, or what should happen on a separation, or what has to happen on a marriage. Different people utilize marriage as their main goal in life. Some see it as something different, they don't care. And as of my sources, of all the sources I had to go through, most of them go over the separation as something, how can I say it? This is methodical. They don't. Most sources just focus on the legal and bureaucracy that's behind it. Very few go over the social issue that divorce causes. As I said in the beginning, the mental health it can affect, and the outcomes it has on children after a separation. As we know, children who grows with parents separated often has struggles on their life as it keeps going on. And other than that, I think my project has taught me different topics I hadn't learned or I didn't know I was ignorant of. And I think it's been a quite rough semester where I learned a lot of stuff.